Welcome to GK TechVerse. Let's dive in.
This video is the continuation of our Oops section from the Core Java Interviews Beginner playlist. In the previous video, we built a strong foundation by understanding Oops basics, encapsulation and abstraction. Now we move to the most important interview concepts, inheritance and polymorphism. If you don't understand these clearly, you will struggle in almost every Java interview. Let's break them down step by step in an interview focused way. Explain inheritance. Inheritance in Java is a mechanism where one class acquires the properties and methods of another class. What does it mean? We'll see with this example. We have regular employee class and manager class. Both are employees having common fields and common functionality. Okay, instead of writing same fields, same functionality in each class, we will create a common class which is parent class, and we can extend that parent class to the each child class, so that automatically this manager and regular employee child class can acquire employee class data and behavior. By using this, we can achieve code reusability, right? So whenever child class extends parent class, automatically it acquires all the class data and behavior. In this code snippet, when I create a manager object, this manager object can access inherited method and also its own method, right? So in Java, inheritance is achieved using the extends keyword. Using inheritance, we can achieve reusing existing code, creating hierarchical relationships, reducing code duplication. Types of inheritance in Java. So in Java, we have three types of inheritance: single inheritance, multi-level, hierarchical. What is single inheritance? One child class inherits from one parent class. So here we will have only one child and one parent. So one child class inherits from one parent class. This is called single inheritance. Multi-level inheritance. A class inherits from a class that already inherits from another class. So it means we have child and parent, grandparent, right? Child extending parent class, parent already extending grandparent class. In this example, we have a senior manager class which is extending manager class. Manager already extended employee class. So automatically this child class, right? It will acquire manager class behavior and also employee class behavior, because parent is already extended grandparent, right? So child will get automatically this employee data and behavior. This is called multi-level inheritance. Third one is hierarchical inheritance. Multiple child classes inherit from one parent class. So here these are multiple child classes inheriting one parent class. This is called hierarchical inheritance. Remember here one point, Java does not support multiple inheritance using classes, but it supports it through interfaces. So what is the issue if we do multiple inheritance using classes? Here this child class extending two parent classes. Okay, in this picture these two parent classes already extended grandparent class, and these two parent classes override the process method. Okay, so we can override the parent class methods if you want to have a separate implementation. Okay, you no need to copy the parent class implementation, you can override it. Okay, that's we call it as polymorphism. So we will see that in detail in next question. Suppose let's say this two child classes override the parent class method. Okay, so these two have its own implementation. Now another child class which extended two parent classes. Here we are extending two parent classes. Okay, when we do that, when we create this child class object and trying to call process method, so then the JVM will confuse that which parent class method should invoke. Okay, that's where we call it ambiguity issue. Okay, we will get ambiguity issue. This is called the diamond problem. But using multiple inheritance via interfaces, like Java supports multiple inheritance via interfaces. If you see, explain polymorphism with real example. So polymorphism means many forms. In Java, it allows a method to behave differently in different situations. There are two types of polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism, which we call as method overloading. Runtime polymorphism, we call it as method overriding. So polymorphism increases flexibility and supports dynamic behavior. Polymorphism means one interface, multiple implementations. One method, multiple behaviors. We'll see that in detail. Compile time polymorphism is achieved using method overloading, where methods have the same name but different parameters. See this code snippet, same method name with a different parameters. This is called method overloading. So one class can have same method with a different parameters. So the decision made at compile time. Runtime polymorphism is achieved using method overriding, where a subclass provides its own implementation of a parent class method. So this example, if you see, we have a payment processor is the parent class having process payment method. We have credit card payment child class which extends parent class, and here we are overriding the actual method, overriding the actual parent method. So parent is already have process payment implementation, but in child card class we want to implement in a different way so that I can override that default behavior. The same way UPI payment also extends the parent class, and also it is overriding the process payment because it has its own implementation, so that I can override and I can add my own implementation. So this is called runtime polymorphism. We have created a payment processor reference type, okay, and created a child class object, right? When I invoke process payment method, okay, so JVM checks what is the object type at runtime. So the object is child class object. So automatically this child class process payment method will invoke. Difference between method overloading and method overriding. Method overloading and method overriding are two forms of polymorphism. Method overloading happens when multiple methods in the same class have the same name but different parameters. It is resolved at compile time. Method overriding happens when a child class provides its own implementation of a method defined in the parent class. It requires inheritance and is resolved at runtime. In simple terms, overloading is compile time polymorphism and overriding is runtime polymorphism. Method hiding. So we already discussed method overloading and method overriding. Now it is method hiding. Method hiding occurs when a child class defines a static method with the same name and signature as a static method in the parent class. Method overriding instance methods, which is runtime polymorphism, but static methods belongs to class do not support runtime polymorphism. So when child defines same static method, it hides parent method, not overrides it. We'll see the details using the code snippet. Here we have a parent class having static method, right? Child class extending parent method, okay? And here we have same static method, same method name, right? When you are creating a parent reference, okay, and created a child object. Now when I am using this object and calling the show method, okay, now what will happen? It will invoke parent show method, not child show method. Why? Because the static methods use compile time binding, right? And this method called depends on reference type, not object type. We already know static methods are belongs to class, right? Here we have created a reference parent class. So when I call show method, obviously this parent show method only will invoke. Okay. This will happen only for static methods. So method hiding, this is called method hiding. If we see same example without static method, parent class having show method, which is not non-static, child extends parents, and we have override the show method here. This is called overriding. And when I create, okay, same parent reference and child object, when I call show method, now this time the method will invoke from the child object, right? So this is the difference. When I use static methods, method hiding will happen.
Thanks for watching GK TechVerse. Subscribe, stay consistent, and keep upgrading your skills. See you in the next video.